Hey guys, today we're painting on canvas, watercolour canvas. This is the cheapest way I've found to buy it. I've got this beautiful subject here of these ripe, plump tomatoes, but there are only two. So what I'm going to do is make it three. So I could have 1, 2, 3 in a row, or I could have 1, 2 and 1 behind. I'm going to very roughly sketch in this beautiful sepal, and they're kind of like stars. So I'm just going to place a circle on each to decide where I want the sepals to come out of. So that one will be pointing that way. Will this one point away, or will it come? Yeah, I think I'll have it over here. So then I'm shifting it just that little bit on each one for the position of the sepal. What I thought I'd do is draw in the sepals with a watercolour pencil, and then I realised that I've got inktense pencils, and that's going to be even better because it's ink and it's going to be permanent. So try it out with a watercolour pencil if you don't have inktense. I've got leaf green, iron green, and it looks like Ionian green. These sepals are so beautiful, and they're like big fat stars coming out. I'm going to give it a little bit of tone while I'm here. One colour, and then the other one. I'll just shift as I'm coming towards the centre of the sepal, and that's where it joins onto the stem. So again, I'm staring as much as possible at the real sepal because they go in all different directions, and turns the corner. This one comes up and turns around. It's got this like hook on the end. It's completely gorgeous. It's like they've got, each one has like little personalities. Give a yellow undertone. It's got an interesting mark that comes out, and then out like that. There and up, up, and that goes down. Give it a bit of yellow. Okay, well, that was just fun putting it in. I haven't put in the stick that joins them all together, the stem, I should probably say. This is quinacridone scarlet, and lovely batch there for that one. Next colour is, this is quinacridone rose. So two beautiful transparent colours. The fact that they're transparent isn't going to match that much on this watercolour canvas because they all just kind of mix together and they don't glaze much at all. So that's ready to jump in. Now the fourth colour, and I'm going to prepare it now as well. This is phthalo green. So again, incredibly transparent. But I wonder what phthalo green looks like if I mix it with... Oh, look at that. That's like a black. That's fantastic. Okay, to start, a lovely underpainting of quinacridone scarlet. Is it going to move when I put it over my sepal? I'm hoping not. I'm hoping it will just stay in place so that I can just paint over it, because I want to be able to paint quickly straight into the next one, because I want to be applying similar methods to each tomato, and I just love the idea that I could get them all done at once. So I'm going as fast as I possibly can to get the three colours, the three lots of underpainting done. So the inktense is definitely moving straight in with my pink. Now I'm going to start to paint with the contours of the fruit, with the contour, like that, with the contour. I'm amazed at how that helps me sometimes. It's kind of like a note for your brain. This is a round object, so paint in a round direction. This alizarin crimson is really lovely and thick, so it's going to sit in place in the spots that I put it. I want these to be touching, and I want these to be touching. I'm going to run that beautiful red right to the edge. Oops, made a mistake. Don't go back and correct it now. We're moving fast. I'm going around the edges. So there's a bit of that beautiful colour. And I did this prep earlier, which is great because here comes the deep colour. And each one's getting the deep. And then comes the absolute joy of spritzing down the bottom here and releasing some of their colour. I want them to release one to another. There. Okay, reapply the alizarin and move that beautiful dark around again. Again, it's a round object, so I'm going to paint with the contour of the fruit. I think it is a fruit, isn't it? This is pink. I know that the object is, of course, red, but it's quite lovely to make it a pinky red. That's totally my choice. I'm going to put in some darks near the sepal because they would have little shadows that they'd be casting. So just see if I can add little shadows and go back in to my deep dark edges and just putting it at the bottom. So it's based on that idea that you place some darks at the base of the colours of the fruit and then you get beautiful deep colours. So it's not mixing at the moment, so I'm going to get a slightly wetter wash. I might mix the pink and the red together. Touch more water will mean that when I apply it this time, they'll mix a little more as I come in. And yeah, that's good. So over here is this beautiful green. I'm going to encourage them to travel over here with red. And then a little bit of gravity will mean, moving my tomatoes for a moment, bit of gravity on an angle and get them to come out this edge here. It's not coming out there. We'll just give it a little exit point. Beautiful big drip happening here. I love that. And I'm just going to mop that up. Now, I wonder what happens if I get these same inktense pencils and I redraw my sepals. What will they do? Oh, it's beautiful. Just redrawing them. Oh, that's a dream. Oh, this is definitely the best idea that I've come up with. So I've been sitting here experimenting with masking fluid and all sorts of things and ways to get the sepals separate but still get a beautiful wet in wet happening. I'm going to give that a bit of... And turns out the inktense are a wonderful way to go. There, lovely. I'm just putting in a little bit of green with my inktense pencil in there. Now this would probably work to a degree with a watercolour pencil, and perhaps I'll do that in another video. Just a few lines down here. Now the brilliance, this is where the, oh, I've missed a bit there. Oh, it's too wet, that's the problem. Just drying off my pencil. I need to get a dry brush. I'm looking for a dry one I haven't used today, but one that has a point. This is because there's all this colour here that is covering my pretty sepals. Oh, that worked. But I am taking off a bit of the inktense as well. It's very wet just there, so Just remove a little bit over here as well. Oh, it's just revealing the sepals underneath. It's lovely. That's so exciting. Okay, now I'm going to go back to my tomatoes and have a look at where those highlights are. So if I'm having an imaginary, I'm just going to clean that up. Oh, that's a mess. If I'm having an imaginary, clean my brush. If I'm having an imaginary light source coming this way, then this side of the tomato will have a highlight. And when I look at it, it falls in all sorts of interesting ways. And again, I'm going to go with the contour of the fruit that way. That will re-emphasize each time I'm round, I'm round, I'm round. And it's looking a little bit like a turnip. Over here on that one, and then re-establish my, I'm taking that off and then re-establishing the sepal. I'm going to make that one come out. I know it doesn't, but I think that will look good. All right, I'm doing lifting off and establishing highlights. Re-establish the sepal each time I interrupt it, and some highlights over here and over here. Okay, they're looking a little bit like turnips because I've got those hard lines there. So I'm going to try and soften some of those lines just gently, and then put the sepal back in. Now, if they end up looking like red turnips, then I'll have learnt something about painting on watercolour canvas and what to do and what not to do. And if they end up looking like tomatoes, then I will be ecstatic, because I don't often paint tomatoes, and I decided to try and learn something about it. This flat brush is doing such a great job for this bit here. There's a sepal that goes up here and out there. I'm making the sepals get longer and longer because they're just so much fun to put on and move about on the page. Okay, I've got a bit of drama. I've got a bit of something that looks a bit like fruit. They look organic, so I'm pretty happy with that. It's fascinating to be working on this watercolour canvas. It's both frustrating and fabulous all at the same time, so it's made me have to work really quickly. So that's been really good, and boy, does that suit my style to be working really quickly. A little bit of a spritz has softened lots of the lines. There's so much more that I could do. I could come in and re-establish all the sepals, and that would be so easy to do with this yellow pencil. I think I put the yellow on top of the, oh yeah, look at that, just draws straight into it. That one can be a wonky one. That one comes out there. I'll just make that one sit on top. I'm picking up a fair bit of paint as I go around. That one can go on top instead. Oh, it's lovely just using the yellow. Come up here, just re-establish that one. Been sitting here for hours now, just playing with watercolour canvas, trying to work out the best way to paint on it, and I think this is definitely the best way. I'm going to be painting these tomatoes tomorrow on YouTube Live and go through every step of this process. I think the design is quite good, so I'm pleased with that. It looks interesting. I think it's time to, even though it's still quite wet, I think it's time to take the masking tape off and think about whether or not to sign it. It is a little bit low, isn't it? If that's half, nearly all of the painting is in the bottom half. And that does make me think, oh, does it need, in fact, a something up the top? So that could take the place of some stalk. So maybe I do stalks, or maybe I improve the design on the next one and turn this one up so that it goes up into there. Or maybe tomorrow on YouTube Live, all I do is make them a little bigger and move them up the page a little bit. A few options there to resolve it. But the beauty of having just worked on a piece of canvas is that I can cut it down to make it a little more satisfying. Okay. Removing the tape, because that's always such a pleasure. Feels like I've accomplished something when I'm removing the tape. Either I've accomplished something or I've learnt something, or sometimes all that happened was I sat down and had a really lovely time just being creative and enjoying myself. Okay, I think they could be berries. They could be a range of fruit, but they're definitely in the fruit zone. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed this, then do check out the YouTube Live where I'm going to discuss it in more detail. Thank you so much. See you next time, guys. I'll put the link at the end of this video to the full tutorial where I go through watercolor canvas in depth. So check that one out if you enjoyed today's video. Thanks, guys. See you next time. Bye.